Hello knitting friends and welcome back to Ina Knits. My name is Ina, I come to you from Norway where I live with my family, my cute little dog Billy, and we are having a lot of super cold weather right now. So I need to wear my woolens for sure. I have 2 layers of woolens on me right now. It is 15 or 16 minus degrees Celsius outside. And I just went for a walk with Billy and it was absolutely stunningly beautiful. It's sunny and the sky is blue, and we had a period of a couple of 3 days of really mild weather some days back, and suddenly the weather turned back to super cold, and in the middle of that transition we had a pretty heavy snowfall, and it seems like all of the trees are covered with snow. It's like snow crystals. It's just been frozen on the trees, so it looks just like winter wonderland basically. And I just wish that I could like endure or manage to stay longer outside, but my face is just it's almost like frozen stuck, and it starts to hurt pretty fast. So we were out for like 20 minutes or maybe 30, and that was plenty. So yeah, but I am wearing my mint sweater today. This is a pullover. It's rather oversized, and it is a pattern made by Rauma yarn, the Norwegian wool mill, and I really love it. It's very warm. It is made out of a combination of Tilia, the silk mohair from Filcolana, and combined with Jameson & Smith 2-ply, both in white. So it's so toasty and warm and quite airy at the same time, but I think that is the clue when you are in a very cold climate. You need to make sure that there is lots of air within the wool or between layers. I'm also wearing one of my absolute favorite shawls. This is the succulent shawl. It is a shawl designed by Maria Monska, and I knitted this quite some time ago, and it is made out 100% untreated wool. It is made out of Holst Super Soft, and if you're very sensitive, this would probably be a little bit too rough directly on your skin, especially around the neck and face, but I really love it, and it's definitely my first choice when the weather is like this. Yeah, I did an episode about my whips going into 2024 last week, and I have to thank you so much for all of your wonderful comments about my whips, especially a lot of valuable input when it comes to what I should do with the whips I wear pretty uncertain about. I have made up my mind, and I'm sticking to my new notebook, my knitting journal or notebook, and I have decided to rip out 4 of the whips from last year, and I have finished 5. So I'm so pleased with that. I find that keeping this notebook updated gives me so much motivation for tackling my unfinished projects. Very pleased about that, and a lot of you who commented on my whip special episode gave me so many new ideas on what to do with certain projects. It really got me thinking and evaluating and looking for new ways of dealing with an old whip that I were really not certain if I wanted to continue working on or if I could do it in another way. So thank you so much. I really love all of your wonderful comments. I read all of them, and I sometimes get a little overwhelmed, so it happens that I just click the heart and just to let you know that I have read the comment. But if you have a question or something I feel like I need to respond to or want to respond to, I will of course do that. So yeah, I do have a lot of finished objects to show you. I have 5, which is not usual on this podcast. But yeah, I really got momentum, and I am surfing on a wave of motivation of finishing my current whips, or my long languishing whips that are basically UFOs, and that feels so good. And I have to say, I have also made a list of dream knits or things that I really want to get on my needles in 2024, and basically as soon as possible. But I have managed to force myself and just stagger the urge to cast on something new. So I've decided that I will clear my needles of one more project before I cast on something new from my 2024 wish list. So yeah, so please let me know, are you having many whips on your needles, and are you kind of in the mood for tackling your whips at this time of the year? I think that I just need to get into the correct mindset, and starting a fresh new year in January really helps me manage that. Right. My first finished whip is a sweater. And if you've been here before, you have seen it several times. So this was, or is, a test knit for Anna Daku. She is the Bluebird box, which is her designer or social media name. And it is a beautiful pullover. And it is complete. This is a top-down pullover. You knit with 2 strands of fingering weight yarn, and I think it's supposed to be a kind of a stash buster project. You can, of course, use whatever yarn you like, but I wanted to challenge myself to make something that I liked out of a lot of leftover yarns. So this is basically, or most of it, is hedgehog fibers sock, like the thin fingering weight sock yarn. And I have used the fade that came with the Find Your Fade shawl by Andrea Mowry. I bought that fade together with a friend for several years ago, like pre-COVID times, with the intention of knitting the Find Your Fade shawl. So we split all of the hanks in two. So I got 50 grams of each of the, I believe it was 7 hanks of hedgehog fibers sock. I have held it double with other yarns, so you could just see the fade, but not true to color as it is if you would knit only with hedgehog fibers. So yeah, I have weighed this sweater. I used a total of 469 grams. So it's light, but it has some weight to it, and I just find it's very lovely when you knit this reversed stockinette, and all of the colors just pop in a whole different way. Yeah, and it got a very lovely and interesting shoulder construction. And then it is this raglan increase, and yeah, I'm just very pleased with it. I took some photos and posted them on Instagram. My Instagram name is ina.knits. I forgot to say that. I often forget to tell where you can find me on social medias. I'm ina.knits on Instagram. I'm ina.knits on Patreon, and I am my username on Ravelry is Inapina, which used to be my old Instagram name as well. It's a nickname from my childhood. Anyway, I don't know what else to say. I just find it extremely fun to knit on scrap yarn projects or leftover yarn projects, and the accomplishment of creating something that I like and can actually wear with scraps and leftover yarn is it is a huge thing for me. And it's not only in knitting, it's in life in general. For instance, creating a lovely meal out of leftover food brings me so much joy as well. So yeah, I'm just that kind of person that likes the smaller, simpler joys in life, I guess. So this was the test knit, and the pattern releases on January 19, which is tomorrow, on Friday. So I can definitely recommend Anna Daku's Daku. Yeah, her patterns are just lovely and really easy to follow. She holds your hand all through the knitting process, and yeah, I will definitely knit for her again or from her patterns. Yay! Right. I also finished prior to last weekend. Oh Billy, stop it. It's okay. Det går bra. Det går bra. Ja, det går bra. I have knitted a pair of socks for Christian. And these are rather long and large. They are perfect for his foot. He is a European size 45. And he has worn them so they don't look as pristine as when they were freshly washed and blocked. I knitted the cuff and the leg extra long because that was what he wished for. And yeah, this is a sock yarn that I have dyed myself, and I'm pretty pleased with how they turned out. It was a really fun couple of socks to knit up. Yeah, there's something special about knitting something that you have dyed the yarn for yourself. And he is super pleased, and yeah, he has basically been wearing them ever since he got them. So one happy Christian with new socks. Yeah, I don't think I need to say anything else. Yeah, I knit a lot of socks, and mostly I knit my socks with kind of a pattern I just have in my head, like many sock knitters do. So this is basically my standard sock for a man. It's 72 stitches, and I do a 2x2 rib and a reinforced heel flap and gusset decrease and a double decrease toe. So yeah, and I knit them on 2.25 millimeter needles. Then I also finished a couple of socks for myself. So these are my October socks. I had a lovely month of knitting socks back in October last year, and yeah, I casted on several pairs. I have finished most of them, not all, but most. And yeah, I was basically down to around here on sock number 2, and I have just been laying in my pretty Ghana basket and never gotten any attention over the holidays. But I picked them up and just finished the last sock. It took me one evening, so it was quickly done. And this pretty yarn is a hand-dyed yarn by Milla's Microfargeri. She is a local to me hand dyer from Trondheim, and I had a subscription for a monthly surprise yarn from her back in 2018, and this was the yarn for October, so that's why I call them my October socks. And yeah, really love how she dyed this yarn. It is super pretty, and it was very fun to knit up. I chose to do a broken rib on these just to change up the sock knitting game for me a little bit. And yeah, it creates a very lovely texture and both lovely to wear and to knit. And they sit very well on my foot. Other than that, it is my basic sock recipe once again. With, I think these are with 64 stitches. Yeah. And we have more finishes. I also have a new sweater number 2. And here it is. It's a Loppa sweater made out of, no, it's a Riddari. It's a Riddari by Vedis Jonsdottir. I have knitted 2 of them previously in blue. The fun thing is that this was actually my first Riddari. It was knit and almost finished back in the fall of 2020, maybe early 2021. And for some reason it has been tucked away in a cabinet unfinished for all this time. The knitting was complete, but I had to weave in all the ends and do the underarm seam under here. So I mean, that was when I just decided to sit down and finish it. It took me maybe an hour, maybe less. So why I haven't done it before, I have no clue. I have no clue why, but now it's done. I think perhaps a reason could be that it is a very, very rustic sweater, and I don't particularly enjoy the feeling of Loppa against my skin. So I would probably have to wear something underneath, of course, and maybe a turtleneck or something to protect my neck. But I can't wait to start wearing it, and now it's the perfect timing. Oh, it's extra long, and I really love these colors. I think it's so pretty with the combination of the green and the creamy white and the light brown color. Right, I think I have one more finish. No, that was actually it. I have 4 finishes and not 5 that I told you late in the beginning of the episode. And it is just a joy to be able to flip the pages of my notebook and be on top of things. But I have started to tackle yet another old UFO. After I finished my Riddari and the test knit sweater, I picked up and looked at my Damejakka Loppa to see if I felt like continuing working on that. And I have to admit, the first rows were very slow, and I had my doubts that I would enjoy knitting all the way through to finish it. But after the initial slow progress, it started to grow on me. And now I am absolutely obsessed about this cardigan. What? It is almost complete, you guys. So the status of this UFO, I was down to this marker. This is knit top down as well, by the way. So I had knitted down to this marker on the body. It is about 10 centimeters below where I divided for body and sleeves. And I was at this point on sleeve number 1. So when I started working on it, I decided to complete the first sleeve. So I knitted this part in one evening. And then I continued to work on the body. And I think that the rhythm of knitting stranded color work like this, you get into a flow, a rhythm, which is really enjoyable. And it's sort of mindless, but at the same time a little bit interesting. And it was quite easy to see progress. So yeah, last night I completed the border and bound off. And now I am, a couple of inches, 5 centimeters down sleeve number 2. Woohoo! So, wow. It's really amazing that something can be in hibernation for such a long time. I mean, it's been, I don't even remember when I casted on this Loppa. It is probably 5 or 6 years ago. And I have been working on it now and then, but yeah, totally lost steam for a very long time. And it just feels so good to be back on the horse and finally completing this cardigan. Yeah, I didn't mention, but this is a beautiful pattern by Myhre. She is also under the name Pinneguri. And yeah, it's just very nice patterned yoke. And I basically just used a whole bunch of leftover yarn in my stash for the colorwork portion of this sweater. The green, almost petrol-y, dark green color is a Finnish wool. It's this one. This is something that I bought in Helsinki some years back. I even have the ball band in my notebook, of course. I have no clue how to pronounce it. But the fun thing about my Loppa is that I used all souvenir yarns. So this was a souvenir yarn from Helsinki. The contrasting like pattern flexes or the fleece is made with this. It's a very, very pale pink, almost blush pink, I would say. And this is a souvenir yarn from Copenhagen. This is the ball band. This is an untreated merino wool. It's absolutely divine. It's so soft. And yeah, it's not superwash. So it's untreated wool. And then, and this was purchased in Copenhagen in Denmark. And then I've used this yarn, and this is the Tex Arena. It's a yarn I bought in Estonia, in Tallinn. So this was also a souvenir yarn. I have later learned that I don't think that this is actually Estonian wool. I think it's Lithuanian. Oh well, it's from the Baltic countries. And here are some of the other colors that are in the yoke section. And all of these are like, it's very similar to the Holst Super Soft, but I believe this is Black Hill Høylandsull from the Danish yarn shop Garnutsalg. That is something I bought online, so it's not souvenir yarn, but the three others are souvenir yarns from 3 different countries, which I find so wonderful to incorporate all of that into one beautiful cardigan. Right, so the cardigan is knit on 3mm needles. It's 2.5 for all of the ribbings. And I am knitting the size large. And I think it will be a wonderful fit in the end. So once I've finished sleeve number 2, I have to do a steek. So I will probably sew here in between my 2 steek lines, and I will do 2 seams on my sewing machine and cut in the middle, and then I need to knit up 2 button bands, and then it will be all complete. So happy that I'm back knitting on my Damejakka Loppa. This is a cardigan I have been having on my wish list for many years. And yeah, finally I'm getting there. I have made some progress on my Christmas socks. Just briefly going to show you. This is a sock made out of a hobby yarn. It's a glittery sock yarn from Hobby. And I have completed sock number 1. And I'm on sock number 2. I'm going to have this as out and about sock project, something to put in my handbag and bring with me and do some rounds whenever I have a spare time or waiting on an appointment, or yeah, you know, always wonderful to have a project that is easy to carry when you're on the go. I have made a little progress on a couple of other smaller sock projects, but it's only a matter of a few rounds, so I won't show you that now. Oh, it's actually starting to be a little bit too hot to wear a shawl, which is nice. Okay. Yeah, I am over the moon, so happy with all of the wonderful response on my Cozy Hygge Socks pattern that I released on New Year's Eve. Thank you so much to everyone who has commented and shared their progress, and of course bought the pattern. It's available on Ravelry, and it is a rather quick and easy project, and yeah, these are the socks that are featured in the pattern. It's a DK weight sock, but it's knitted holding 2 strands of fingering weight yarn together to get this squishy, lovely pair of socks. I talked about having a knit along for the month of January, and yeah, many of you have joined, which is so wonderful. And I have been planning for some days to cast on a new pair myself. Of course, I want to attend my own knit along, but I've been so occupied with finishing my whips, so I haven't done so until now. This morning I pulled out some yarn from my stash. Oh, okay. Now a lot of them fell down on the floor, unfortunately. But I was playing with the idea of combining a solid color with a self-striping yarn. I think that would be rather fun. This is Sanna Sisu, which is a very sturdy, lovely sock yarn. It's a workhorse sock yarn, in my opinion. And this is a Knit Picks Felici. And as you might can tell, it is leftover from a previous project. I may have tried knitting socks out of this yarn previously, and I decided at some point to not finish them and rip back. So yeah, you can see that some of the yarn is a little bit wonky. But yeah, I thought of combining these two, at least on the top portion of the socks, on the leg, and then maybe add some other yarns on the foot. I have more, but all of them just rolled off the chair and down to the floor, and now they're all over the place. So yeah, and my thought is to use this color throughout, and then use the stripes and the variegated yarn for the foot. So yeah, I'm going to cast on now after this recording, and I'm super excited to be working on my new Cozy Hygge socks. And I will post about my progress over at Instagram, so stay tuned that if you are curious to see, and maybe you're inspired to cast on for a pair yourself. And if you do, please use the hashtag Cozy Hygge Socks. So I'm trying to browse that hashtag pretty regularly to see all of your wonderful contributions to the knit along. Yeah, that was basically all I wanted to share with you, like knitwise today. I haven't done any yarn purchases since last year, and frankly not much last year either. I'm really trying to be mindful and work with the yarn I have in my stash already. I am planning to post a video showing you my yarn stash pretty soon. I know that I kind of promised a video about that like during the summer. I moved to my new home, which is this house, back in June, and yeah, I have had a I had a hard time figuring out how I wanted to organize my stash in my new location in the house. So I guess that's basically why that video has taken me so long to make. But I guess you could just take part in the process. I really enjoy like asking you of your opinion. Maybe you can help me decide how I'm going to, categorize it, and maybe there are better ways storing the yarn than the ways I have been thinking of. So, and you always surprise me with so much like valuable input, and even though I try to be super open-minded, there are of course hundreds of other ways to do things that probably could be just as good or even better than the ways I do it. So yeah, I really find it interesting to hear others' opinions about stuff, and yeah, it makes me open my eyes and maybe find a better way. So yeah, I'm coming back to that video. I have recorded a video showing a little bit more details about how I create the Mighty Square blankets. So that is something coming up pretty soon. And I'm also planning to do a vlog here on the channel pretty soon. So yeah, I have several plans, and I keep knitting every day, as I always do. It's my passion and my great hobby, and I love it. And if you would like even more behind the scenes stuff, please check out my Patreon page. I'm Ina Knits over at patreon.com. And there you have a possibility to join my community and get 1 or 2 weekly hygge vlogs, as well as some other lovely stuff, which is paid for. So, but please check it out if you're interested and curious. Yes, so tomorrow I'm leaving for Sweden again. I'm going on a wonderful trip together with some knitting friends of mine. We are going to visit one of my friends' cabin in Åre, in Sweden, and it is forecasted to be around 25 minus degrees Celsius. So ooh, I need to bring a lot of warm clothing. And yeah, but that will be super cozy and very enjoyable, I'm sure. And yeah, I hope you're staying safe and warm wherever you may be located, and I will see you very soon again. I hope that you are enjoying your knitting. Take care. Bye.